My name is Jasmine Thomas, and let me tell you how my life became digital. In our technology-oriented society, it is nearly impossible not to own anything digital or electronic. It is almost unrecognizable from the society that my grandparents and even parents lived. And now as new technology keeps replacing old ones, new technologies come with new things to learn and memorize. Technology has made a huge impact on my writing and reading literacies. For example, as a kid, I loved going to the library because it was where I got most of my books. My parents praised me for being the voracious reader I was, and my grandparents complimented my studious habits. But as the years went by, those books converted into ebooks on a Kindle or a Nook, and then those turned into simply downloading a PDF version on iBooks on my phone. However, the same activity that my parents praised me started to make them skeptical. All they saw was me lazily sitting on the couch playing with my phone, when in reality, I was reading the news, or I was typing an email to my teacher. Since I wasn't physically writing anything down to them, it looked like I was not getting any work done. And as for my grandparents, they lived a more rural and simpler life. They had a telegram and the early versions of a telephone, but they were hard to use. It was pretty much useless to be playing around with these new technological devices when there was actual work to be done. According to the Washington Post, in 1985, 100% of U.S. households had no internet. That meant when my dad was 15 years old, he did not know anything but the luxury of having internet at home. So different from 15-year-old me, who was basically powered on electricity. So to my dad's generation, something like a PDF meant nothing. To me, it was a tool I used for reading daily. And for people who relied on the knowledge of writing on paper and lived in slower times, our world is pretty disorienting and fast-paced. And not only did I have to learn how to handwrite perfectly like my grandparents and parents did, but I also had to quickly learn how to type on a desktop and later on personal laptops. And then when newer and better phones were out, I had to learn how to text and use both the text lingo and emojis, but also proper business text etiquette. All of which needed to be practiced enough so I could type and text fast in order to have a grip on our fast-paced society. Because my generation values speed and efficiency. The newer technologies increased my computer literacy and technical/digital literacies, both of which allowed me new ways to write and read. Because it wasn't enough to learn how to use a computer, you need to learn how to use it the right way. Knowing which applications to use was just as important as knowing how to turn it on. And to get a good reputation, job, and position in modern America, you needed to be proficient in Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. Without it, it was hard to apply for jobs, book appointments, and do certain things. Making sure my writing and reading skills were proficient enough on a computer and other digital devices was important, especially after my school replaced the paper California standardized testing for the online SBAC testing. And now that we were graded with these new technologies, it was crucial to understand the ins and outs of them. In a way, this new way to test our reading and writing was better as the test adapted to what answers you gave and changed the test according to the student's strengths and weaknesses. Even our school recognized the changing, advancing society and wanted us to be prepared once we were out of school. Many schools, like mine, provided iPads, tablets, or laptops to every single student, regardless of economic status, because they wanted every student to have the same opportunity, to have the same strong footing. In school, teachers aren't enforced to emphasize learning how to use a paperback encyclopedia. Rather, they focused on how to access online encyclopedias and databases like Gale eBooks and online public libraries. And with this emphasis on finding information on the World Wide Web, students had to learn the skill to properly judge if a source is credible, something that wasn't as big of a problem back then as it is now. You'll soon learn that Wikipedia isn't the best source of factual evidence. And now that pretty much every student has a technological device for their reading and writing, It's important for me to make sure the efficiency and quality of my writing matched on paper and online when transferring and changing to new modes. Although it does seem extra complicated now that technology has come into play, I believe technology has improved my reading and writing literacy for the better. While many of the older generation depended on face-to-face meetings in order to get corrections and feedback, I have the ability to have face-to-face meetings and online meetings. Programs like Google Docs has given me the option to share my work and get instant feedback on my writing from friends and professionals from the comfort of my own home. I can read and write anywhere, in my bed, on the bus, or even the plane. And I think we can all agree that it is easier to carry one tablet with endless options of books than lugging around that same amount in our backpack. Which brings me to the idea that technology has given me the freedom of choice in my writing and reading. Unlike before, where there was only one answer and only one way to present. Technology has allowed me to be unique and flexible. Instead of simply black and white, my writing and reading is now in that murky gray area, and not at the extremes. And now there are more opportunities to find things I like quickly, like being able to hear a story from my grandmother on video chat, getting books on Amazon without actually traveling to the library, or reciting my speech to my mom on the phone. With new technologies, there comes new improvement to my existing literacies and a gain of brand new ones. Writing flashcards has turned into writing Quizlets. Playing bingo and Jeopardy on paper has turned into an online game of Kahoot. And I believe that it's no longer a choice to change with technology, but rather a demand. So next time you ask a kid, "Why are you on your phone all the time?" Or, "Can't you get off your electronic and get into the real world?" Consider that maybe they have to be on it in order to achieve the same level of success that their grandparents and parents had. Because to my generation and to the next, the real world is digital.